All right, so with the flow of matter and energy chart here, what you guys needed to do was first take a look at this food web that I've already got sliced and diced. Uh, we went over this in the last class where we said that the bottom row here, these three down here, and let me zoom in a little bit. Um, there we go. These three at the bottom here, you can tell that these are producers because they have no arrows pointing towards them. If it had an arrow pointing towards them, that would mean that uh, they have to be some kind of organism that is eating something else. And these don't. All of these have just arrows pointing away from them, which means they are getting eaten, not doing the eating. So the only thing that these three could be would be some kind of autotrophs. In this case, they are producers, they're plants. And that would mean that this level of organisms have to be our primary consumer. So these are our herbivores that are eating these plants. And that would also then mean that these three up here, because you can see the arrows are all going towards these guys, are eating these three. So these are our carnivores. And then this tertiary group up here are carnivores also. They're not omnivores. And you can tell they're not an omnivore because if, say, number 11 was an omnivore, it would have an arrow maybe from number 2 all the way up to number 11, and that would make him an omnivore. But there is no arrows going from any of the plants up to any of these guys up here. Okay, so that's a quick review on the food web there and what was going on there. So we can see that we have number 1, Roman numeral 2, and Roman numeral number 3 uh, populations here are producers. So if we roll down here and we look at organisms 1, 2, and 3, the total number of their population would be the addition of those three numbers. And those would then go into this box here. Okay? So that when you got done, you should have this number here. When you add them all up, it should be 4877, I think. And then if you add all of the all of these numbers here, that would give you the total. And so I'll write down the total right now. That would be 6,078. So this is the number you should have gotten for the total. So how do you go about getting the proportion of the organisms? Well, this is for the population. All right. So in other words, this one would be the 48, 77 divided by that 6,078. And this is going to give you uh, a percentage around 80 something. I'll work it out later, but this is going to give you a percent. It's actually going to give you a 0.80 something. Then you multiply that times 100, and that will get you your percent. Okay. The one thing that I didn't ask you guys to do yet, and that's what I was going to do today, is this part right here. You need to add another column. So just extend out lines to it and draw a little box up around it like I did here. And then put biomass percent. So your biomass percent is going to be this number here. So if this was, say, Y, and this is my X, then this number over here is going to be the same thing as the population. It'll be Y divided by X. and then that will give you a decimal point multiplied times 100, and that will give you your percent. So hopefully you guys will understand how to do that, and then be able to fill out the rest of the chart. Okay. Once you get the chart filled out, then we're going to get into our next assignment, which is taking these numbers and placing these numbers on a pyramid. Okay. So that's what we're going to do now.